Okay, so today we're going to talk about what are the value props for pipeBOT, right? Like, what is it that it does that makes you want to put it in your control room, and as a control room operator would make you want to use it? So, the first one that we were targeting when we started the company was faster startups, right? So if you're operating a very large pipeline, you're executing those pressure set points, you're opening those valves, you're starting those pumps. You want to be able to start as fast as possible because that's how you're generating revenue as an oil pipeline company. So faster startups is number one. So here we have, over here we have some data from a startup. So you can see the one pump station. Over here we have the pipeBOT startup. So pipeBOT actually starting up the pipeline on behalf of the control room operator. So you have some overshoots in pressure over here on the manual startup, none of those over here on the right. Everything's nice and smooth, my right, everything's nice and smooth, getting up to rate and holding max rates, and no overshooting, just getting it there. So why is that a value proposition? Why is that important? So the faster you start up a pipeline, the faster you get to max rate, which max rate and max throughput on the asset, the higher frequency you can reach it, the more revenue you generate as a pipeline company. So that's why that's important. We always bring that back to efficiency, right? Like, we have these existing assets as efficient as possible. Efficiency is green, beginning of the energy transition. So what else is a value prop for our lovely pipeBOT? Max rates, right? I touched on that briefly, but handling max rates. So we have an add-on called max opt. We'll go through this in much more, but essentially max opt is holding your maximum flow rate for the pipeline over time. So you're seeing here in a screenshot, what exactly does that mean, right? So your control room operator over time, because they've got to answer the phone, they've got to run to the bathroom, they have to have a conversation with somebody else in the room. Like, they may, as the bottleneck moves through the line or changes over time, they may not see where it is, and therefore there's periods of time where they're not meeting max flow rates. So what we're showing here is how pipeBOT can maintain max rates versus how your control room operator sometimes is not able to do that at all times. So what does that mean, again, from a value prop standpoint? What is the value to a pipeline company, an oil pipeline company, from that? The more frequency that you hit your max rates, the higher the utilization of your asset, thus you increase revenue, right? Increasing revenue, increasing efficiency, we're green, we're making more money, life is great, we're safer, right? Excellent stuff. So another value prop that we want to talk about for today, for our lovely pipeBOT, is control room operator workload. So here we have a full chart of each of the different operations that a control room operator will be executing, what the historical data shows for their interaction, a control room operator's interaction with the pipeline versus what pipeBOT can actually achieve. So these are substantial. They're ranging between 80, 85% up to 99% reduction in control room operator workload. You've got your startup, your shutdown, your swing, your strip, you're maintaining your batch handling, maintaining those max rates. All of that results in that reduction of workload for your control room operator. So the leading cause of safety incidents, as reported by PHMSA, is control room operator fatigue. What does control room operator fatigue mean? It means, you've got so much going on and you're so busy that you're not able to focus on what's going on, or you're getting distracted, or you're just tired and you're zoning out, right? And so if you're tired and you're zoning out, then you're not able to be fully engaged in what's happening. So how do you lower control room operator fatigue? Well, you have to lower the workload that they do. Lots of fantastic work has been done on alarm rationalization, but what this is showing is that by automating what your control room operator does, and please see our other video on what is pipeBOT and what does it do, but by automating what your control room operator actually does, you are enabling a reduction in that control room operator fatigue. So super, super important from a safety standpoint, super important from a business continuity standpoint, right? Like, You know, your control room operators, during COVID, you know, there was if everybody got sick, what do you do, right? And I know folks were quarantined, and that sucks. So, you know, having some more redundancy in the operation of the asset is fantastic. You still always need the control room operator, safety first, you know, but how do we make their lives easier and reduce that workload for them? So these are, you know, these are real numbers. You can really reduce your control room operator workload using pipeBOT, which is pretty fantastic. So on to the next thing. What else is there that is a value prop with respect to pipeBOT? You know, we went through each of these activities with respect to the control room operator workload, but what are each of these activities and what does it mean? So auto swing. So your control room operator, if they have a pipeline, and imagine it, you know, here like a Y, so you have point A where that's where the oil is coming in. Here you have point B, point C. So you're currently delivering oil to point B, but now you're going to deliver oil to point C. So that's a swing, moving from B to C. Your control room operator right now would be manipulating all of your pressure set points, your valves, your pumps, to be able to change the flow from B to C. An automated swing, so fully automated from pipeBOT, is they select the new flow path, the target rate at that flow path. So here's some screenshots of what that looks like. Examples, again, you know, this is configurable to your specific SCADA system, but example of what that looks like and where you would enter in that information as a control room operator. The pipeBOT system takes it, the pipeBOT system executes that swing on behalf of the control room operator. So again, that's back to that lowering control room operator workload. That's, you know, what is the functionality of pipeBOT? Why is it awesome? Why is it helping control room operators? So again, if you're a control room operator, you're listening to this, you're like, huh, but I already do that. But wouldn't it be nice if something else was doing it for you? So, okay. So on to the next thing, because there's lots of things that pipeBOT does. So we've gone through the faster startups, we've gone through max rates, we've gone through the workload, auto swings, auto strips. That's similar to swings, except that, you know, a strip on a pipeline is when you're pulling volume off kind of mid of the line, right? So you have A, your inlet, B, your outlet, outlet, and then you have one coming out the side. That's your strip, right? So your control room operator is managing your strip. But again, what if they can just set the rate of that strip and the pipeline is managed upstream and downstream on their behalf to flow that volume for them without them having to manipulate all the pressure set points, all the pumps to be able to do it. So there's another lovely value prop and what pipeBOT does and how it does it. Okay, so next, more value props for pipeBOT. There is batch handling. So when you're operating an oil pipeline specifically, you know, you have heavy crude, you have sour crude, you have sweet crude, you have light crude, you know, there's all the different kinds, WTS, WTI, you know, whatever the three-letter symbol is for all of those in oil trading, they know exactly what all of those are. So you have those batches moving through the line, and each of those batches have different density and viscosity. They're usually, you know, some batches are, depending on the pipeline, some batches are smaller than others, but about 100,000 barrel batch or a little smaller, right? Could be quite small, it could be 50,000 barrel batch. So when those batches move through the line, your density and your viscosity are changing. So as those change, the hydraulic profile of the line changes. So your control room operator is constantly manipulating the pressure set points along the line to achieve that max flow rate. Because what's happening over time is your bottleneck or your hydraulic maximum is changing based on where those batches are as they move along the pipeline. So handling batch transitions for a control room operator is fantastic because, you know, your pipeline's operating in steady state, life is chill, life is great, you know, you're gonna check on a few things, maybe you're working on another project, some really cool optimization project for the line, like running some scenarios, maybe you guys are gonna be commissioning a new line. So you're running that pipeline in steady state and you're not really paying a whole lot of attention to it, but oh wait, you know, that heavy batch just came through and just dropped your whole flow rate of the line, right? Like that means you're actually losing volumetric throughput. So from a value proposition standpoint, you want to be maintaining max throughput at all times. So if you have a software such as pipeBOT that's managing your batch transitions for you in real time, monitoring where that bottleneck is based on how the batches move, you're able to actually increase the frequency that you're at max rate, and again, thus increase the utilization of that asset, thus revenue generation, efficiency. You know, I'm like a broken record here, but like efficiency, right? You know, if we're not building more pipelines right now, we've got to get efficient. So, okay, Another one, another value prop. We've gone through a whole bunch of these already. DRA injection. So many heavy oil lines and light oil lines use drag reducing agent to like as a chemical additive that reduces the viscosity of the product and thus enables higher flow rates at the same pressures. So DRA has to be injected in certain batches at certain quantities to be effective. It has a DRA effectiveness curve. So DRA injections, your control room operator will typically get a schedule of DRA injections, and based on when batches are in certain places, they're monitoring, they have to know, and they'll be entering, starting those DRA skids and getting that product in the line to achieve those max rates on this pipeline. So Crux, pipeBOT simply just automates that again. It's not optimizing, that's another product, we'll talk about that one later, but what it is doing is automating those DRA injections on behalf of the control room operators so that they're not babysitting it. Because if they forget to put in DRA at the right time, you're not going to get your max throughput on that pipeline. That's lost revenue, right? Gone forever. So making sure that your control room operator is set up for success such that they will always be able to get the right DRA into the right batches at the right time through robotic industrial process automation, which is a pipeBOT